Resident Evil Afterlife couldn't be any more appropriately named, because when I think about this dreadful zombie series, it's a walking zombie itself. As I recap, I'm going to first say one thing straight, and that's that I hate this series. The first movie had nothing to do with the game's story, and had none of the original characters. In Resident Evil Apocalypse, only then do they include Jill Valentine and the other characters when really, it's just beating a dead horse. Resident Evil Extinction is an even sadder excuse to be a style over substance by a way of mixing Mad Max to the picture. So now we're left with Resident Evil Afterlife, and it's nothing different. You're probably wondering why I'm looking at this if I hate it so much. Well, maybe it's because I want to know if this is the last of the series, because as I remember, every installment left a cliffhanger. Unfortunately, it's the same thing here. And considering the asshole director Paul W. Anderson is married to the star, I'm not that surprised. Anyway, here's the plot summarized as followed. We're directly picked up after Extinction, where we're first taking place in Tokyo, Japan. Here, Alice, played by Mila Jovovich, gathers her clone army from Extinction and does the dirty work, facing Umbrella Incorporated through a war. Albert Wesker, who's from the first game, is in this one as the antagonist. Meanwhile, the real Alice is in Los Angeles helping a few survivors who are left on a rooftop of a skyscraper escape to a ship called Arcadia. Little do they know, it's a trap from Wesker, as they try many ways to escape throughout most of the film. The plot in this one is very similar to Dawn of the Dead, but the lack of originality is the least of its problems. As I said, the series is beyond irrelevant to the stories from the games. The movie is very slow-paced as we're given character introductions and seeing them become special treats for those zombies outside the city. The zombies, on the other hand, are even more embarrassing than before. We now have zombies that can swim and have tentacle mouths like an octopus. Need I go on? It gets stupider and stupider and stupider. The effects in the movie are very cheap by today's standards. Granted, it's a low-budget film, but even the explosions are green screen effects. That's been done like 10 or more years ago. And most of the effects, including the CGI, are slow motions back-to-back over and over again. They slow down the short and very laughable action scenes to give a longer length when really they're only a few seconds in normal speed. Furthermore, these action scenes are not very well choreographed, nor are they created. Just nothing but flips and spins throughout their moments. The only credit I can give is that Claire and Chris Redfield are in this one, but it's no excuse to deviate from the source material. In the end, we get yet another cliffhanger. As if 4 wasn't enough, Paul W. Anderson has to milk more of this franchise for all it's worth. It's a good use to annoy the fans as it destroys the franchise and so on. Capcom should be ashamed of this as they don't even know nor care for what they are doing. If they were any smarter, these movies would never exist, and by now there would be a reboot where they get everything right. But nope, that's nothing but a dream that's never going to exist in reality. From the bottom of my heart, I give Resident Evil Afterlife half a star.